critics said it was a pipe dream, unrealistic, unwise and undeliverable. But today, the Tees Valley Mayor, Ben Houchen, won the backing of his political opponents to spend £40 million of taxpayers' money to buy Durham Tees Valley Airport. With a challenge now to turn a business that's come near to closure into a success. Our political editor, Richard Moss, is at the airport now. Richard.
Yes, Jeff, this is an airport that's been in free fall for some time. From a peak of 900,000 passengers a year to 130,000 a year now, it loses £2 million a year. So in 2017, enter Ben Houchen, a Conservative who won the first ever race to become Tees Valley Mayor, pledging to buy this airport back from its private owner and revitalise it. A plan that his Labour critics said would just not work. And yet a few weeks ago, he concluded a deal to buy this airport from its current owner, Peel Airports. And today, some of those very same Labour critics agreed with his plan to spend £40 million buying it and up to a further £35 million reviving its fortunes. A politician who made a promise and delivered. A mayor here to see the airport that will soon be back in public hands. And all because of this moment.
So those in favour of adopting the investment plan, show of hands.
Labour council leaders, some of whom once poured scorn on the mayor's pledge, voting for an investment plan which will buy the airport for £40 million.
People said when I announced it at the election that it was a fanciful thing to do. Even more recently, people have called it a vanity project. But I'm here, and as a politician I made a pledge. I've delivered on that pledge, and I was able to deliver on it because the people of the Tees Valley believed in it. Now, I've been able to implement this plan, but the pressure that's come from the public on our local leaders to show that this is a priority for them was crucial in getting this over the line. And I'm just so pleased, but now the hard work begins.
And many of the public campaigners were here to see the moment they had pushed for.
I think it's fantastic, and I'm glad the others have seen sense. And I think the buzzwords, as far as I'm concerned, after today, is austerity into positivity.
I mean, we've fought for it for a long time, and Joe has, my husband has. He's fought for this. Yes, you have.
Just put
letters to the Gazette all the time. Yes, he has. And I mean, at our age now, we just hope that we live long enough to be able to use what we've fought for.
There was some flack, though, for Labour leaders during the meeting.
I would encourage the council leaders not to go away and then at some point in the future devalue the plan and try and scupper it for political reasons. I think it's very important.
But all five say they are behind the plan, despite some doubts.
I make no apologies for asking the questions that I have done, and I will continue to ask, but that doesn't mean to say I don't support the proposal now going forward.
How much would you pay for a business that's losing £2 million plus a year? And the answer is not a lot.
You just voted for it, though. That's what you voted for.
Yeah, because we want an airport.
And you can bet today's political unity won't last too long. It's almost certain that the pledge to buy the airport was what won Ben Houchen the right to be Tees Valley Mayor. He'll now be hoping in an election next year that delivering on that deal could get him re-elected. But a walk through the airport shows the challenge ahead. Buying it is one thing, turning its fortunes around, a whole different challenge. Richard Moss, BBC Look North.
Well, about 600 businesses and other organisations across the Tees Valley put their name to a letter urging the local authority leaders to vote in favour of the plan to bring the airport into public ownership. They claimed a revitalised airport can attract investment as well as being a much needed facility. Our business correspondent Ian Reeve reports.
Bill was a happy man this morning at the meeting that saw the deal to buy Durham Tees Valley Airport approved. He's the boss of this Teesside offshore yard, and he's helped to entice a Norwegian company, Equinor, to look at possibly setting up a maintenance depot at the airport. It would service the giant Dogger Bank wind farm in the North Sea. It's not a done deal, but after today, a hurdle to setting it up has been cleared.
I think for Equinor to come to Teesside is probably one of the biggest things that I've heard of and will have seen, I guess, in my lifetime.
And with a plan to develop the airport, and with the threat of closure in 2021 lifted, there could be yet more investment coming to Teesside.
Clearly, you know, the actual vote of positivity, if you like, for the airport is going to open the door for more investors, global people coming from all over the world, I think.
Keith, too, is rather pleased with today's news. He leads a yearly pilgrimage to Lourdes, 400 pilgrims fly from their local airport every year in May. They don't want to go from anywhere else, possibly couldn't.
We take between 90 and 100 what we call supporter pilgrims, which are pilgrims needing assistance. They could be old, infirm, wheelchair, paraplegic. So logistically, it's a fantastic place for us. We've had a working relationship with Teesside since, I think the first flight actually landed in 1965.
The airport could now pass into public ownership in March, but today's vote also triggers other spending. Land at Redcar's former steelworks can be bought, money put into Hartlepool's waterfront. More than £500 million will be spent over the next 10 years. Thousands of jobs created is the promise. But it's the airport that will grab all the headlines, today, tomorrow and beyond. In public ownership, the scrutiny will be relentless, and the Mayor will find out just how hard or easy it is to make the airport viable. Ian Reeve, BBC Look North.
Let's return to Richard Moss at the airport. So Richard, the Mayor's got his back in. What happens next?
Well, first he has to conclude an arrangement with the company who wants to come and manage this airport, which we believe is Stobart Air, already runs Carlisle Airport. Then comes the push to find an EasyJet, a Jet2, a Flybe, who'll come here and start new routes. And the plans are incredibly ambitious. At their most ambitious, 10 new routes will be here by 2022. There'll be 1 million passengers with a current base of 130,000. And the doubts persist. Andy MacDonald, Middlesbrough MP, Shadow Transport Secretary today, saying he's just not convinced that taxpayers will get good value for money out of this deal. But it'll be many years before we find out whether he's right, I suppose, or whether this is the start for a new beginning for an airport that has economic importance, but above everything else, symbolic significance for the people of Teesside. Jeff.
OK, Richard, thanks for that.